Looking for globally inspired food? Look no further. Come here to Common Lot in Millburn, New Jersey. So I'm so excited to be here with Ehren Ryan, the chef and owner of Common Lot in Millburn. Common Lot has been on New Jersey Monthly's top 25 restaurants in New Jersey, I think since basically the inception of the restaurant. Ehren, you describe your food as contemporary global, which I feel like is a new term for me. Can you describe what that means to you?
Contemporary global, I think because I've worked overseas and lived overseas, we take influences from everywhere. We take influences from the places I've worked, I've traveled to, but in a contemporary kind of form. So we kind of modernize some of the dishes that we want to do. I think it's we're not left with one genre. We're not sticking to one genre. We kind of encompass everything. So I think that's the term global contemporary for this cuisine.
And your menu changes, it sounds like quite often. Can you just talk about how your menu process is and why it's like that?
So our menu process is based on seasonal products that we can get in, and it can change. Summer months it can change quite frequently, 3 or 4 weeks, because there's such an abundance of produce. Then we look at the winter months, and it's more to do with grains and braised kind of cuts. So our menu changes frequently with the seasons, but we also have to adapt to the season. So sometimes spring is not spring until late May, for example, like last year. We didn't really have a spring, so then we had to kind of just play or use basically what we had, what we've been given by the suppliers and our farmers that we use. So we're kind of held to whatever the farmer can produce in that particular time. We try and not use things that are produce that is not in season. I'm not going to use berries and lettuces in the middle of winter. I'll use other things like chicories and cabbages and stuff.
It sounds like you work with a lot of your suppliers very closely. How many are from New Jersey, and how much of your menu is like true New Jersey products?
We have our chicken and pork farmer who lives in Bernardsville, who the farms in Bernardsville. So PKS Four Brothers. They're a small family-run business. We use them directly. We contact them. They deliver. We have another lady, Colleen, who does a lot of our herbs and flowers that are edible, and anything else we can kind of find interesting. And again, she's more spring through end of fall. We try to use as much local as we can, honey if we can find it. But I'm not one to try and stick with just 100% local. I'll try and find the best quality food that I can find. Game on this side of the country is amazing. So we try and get our guinea hens on this side. We get farmed trout from South Jersey, from Muskie Farm. So again, we try and use as much local produce we can when the season's right for it.
In addition to your seasonal menu, you also have the kitchen pass, which I think is very unique, where people can really get a first-hand look at what's going on in the kitchen, and it's a menu that is kind of omakase style.
Yeah, the kitchen pass is definitely our fine dining concept. We, my sous chef and I are very kind of classically trained in Europe, and so we have a lot more fine dining experience. So we kind of showcase that at the pass. The menu is a 7-course tasting menu, and it's a very surprise menu. Like we don't try to tell you. We try to avoid to tell you, what's going to be on the menu, to keep that kind of anticipation going. We get asked what wine suggestions that people want, but we just we give them slight hints, but we don't give away the menu. And it's a very personal experience. We're very hands-on. We interact. We deliver. We pass the dishes to you. They ask questions. When we have time, we'll answer as many as we can. So it's very interactive, very kind of personal experience with the customer. By the end of the night, you can kind of, sometimes you understand how many, sometimes you know how many kids they have, and this is their first night out since date night, or so you get that. By the end of the evening, you have this interaction with them in this kind of special kind of dinner. No, I wouldn't say dinner, but I would say the special kind of interaction that we've kind of given them. It helps them enjoy the evening.
Sounds like a unique experience that everyone has to try.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it. It's our signature kind of concept for the restaurant.
Going back to your main menu, are there any dishes that have stayed on from the beginning and that stay on from season to season?
So our braised lamb shoulder is one that has stayed on from day one. We braise it for about 12 hours overnight, and then we'll serve it with kind of different garnishes. We're on to our third, so this is our third year. We've only changed it 3 times since we've started. It's been a bit of surprise, I have to say. I wasn't expecting it to be so popular because you don't see a lot of lamb on the menu around the area. But it is one that has stuck to the restaurant from day one. I think it's the only dish that stayed on.
All right, this is the exciting part. Time to try the amazing food. Ehren, can you describe these 2 dishes?
So we have one of our appetizers. It's a poached shrimp in a little bit of Vietnamese dressing, some daikon that's been kind of pickled or preserved in some chili, and then we have peanuts and Thai basil. Kind of very fresh and kind of light for kind of a winter dish.
All right, let's give it a shot. Yeah, I love it. I mean, the shrimp is so tender, and then you get kind of a crunch from the radish, and then you get followed with the heat from the chili.
Cool.
Oh, so good. And it's refreshing.
And then here we have our mocha Swiss roll with a kind of cacao nib crunch, dolce de leche, which we make in-house, and Vietnamese coffee ice cream. So
let's try the dessert. Yeah, I really love it. It's not too sweet like a lot of, I think, other desserts are. It has the crunch from, what is it, nuts?
It's like a cacao nib.
Oh, cacao nib.
Yeah.
I really love it. I loved it.
Cool.
During my meal, at the end of the meal, there was the tea service, which I found unique. I don't think I've ever had a tea service like that. Can you just describe that?
That's 100% my wife. She is very involved in understanding teas and where they come from and the dynamics behind them. She wanted to create something that's a little bit different, as opposed to just getting a black tea or Earl Grey and that's it. We at home have probably about 25 to 30 different varieties of teas at home. I basically drink one. That's about it. So she is the mind. She's the brains behind it. She just wanted to create something that would be talked about, and encourage people to drink teas. Some of her teas have stayed on from day one. Like a tummy tea is more of a digestive, so it is one that helps with the break, with your meal afterwards. So it's been interesting to see where people gravitate to teas as opposed to finishing with a coffee nowadays.
Yeah.
In our restaurant.
In the main restaurant, it feels like you tried to go for a little bit more casual feel. You have the communal table that we're sitting at,
Yeah.
Why did you decide to go that direction?
I think our original concept for the restaurant was to go a little bit more casual in terms of like a more of an everyday restaurant. I think so. We went for a communal kind of environment where people can kind of sit down at the table, the full table, or have a group get together and it's one big table. And I think over time, I've gone back to more of a fine dining background in my food. So I think it's a mixture of both. It's the communal table in particular is good for different size groups. We can get a 14 on here, we can get 2 6s, we can get an 8 and a 4, and it helps with the size of parties. I don't think it was our intention for it to be at the start. At the very start we had tables, and I think we just this had a better feel for it. This had a better vibe that we were going for, and I think it's stuck. So it's one of those things that kind of fell into place. I think it wasn't structured at start, but I think it was just one of those things where we fell into it, and it was like, this is a good fit for us.
What kind of community impact and giving back to the community do you guys get involved in?
So Common Lot we do soup kitchens. We don't broadcast it, but we do. We make once a month a soup kitchen, and we drop it off to them. Where we can, we will do. We do the Battered Women's Association dinners, so we'll help where we can. We try to give back as opposed to just a gift card. We try and give back with what we're actually good at, and that's cooking. So we tend to do things that are a little bit more food driven. We also kind of, in terms of personal charities, we tend to focus more with cancer and kids. So in that sense, we'll give to where we need to, and we try to do it inconspicuous because we don't really we don't need people's harping on about us giving community. We just do it very kind of low key and don't ask for anything. We just give what we need to away.
Thanks to Ehren for sharing his story. If you're looking for a special meal, definitely come out to Millburn and check out Common Lot. I know Ehren and his team will treat you great, and you'll really love the food. Remember to buy local and also eat local to build stronger communities in New Jersey. If you like this video, please share it, and also visit buylocalnj.com. Thanks.